All right. I am live again. See if I can set this at a decent level. Oh. Let's try it right there. All right, now, of course, when I went live, my family just showed up. They're knocking on the front door, but they have keys. So, we'll continue with the live stream as planned. I got 10 folks in here already. I'll be honest with you, I had almost talked myself out of doing a live stream tonight because I figured all eyes would be glued on their sets and computer screens for the election, which you will not get any election coverage in this live stream. This is an election-free, politic-free smoke this evening. I know I'm tired of looking at my screen. And no matter what your political bent, I think we can all agree it's been a frustrating couple of days. All right. I'm about to load up some Haunted Bookshop, and you see I've been I just started doing this. Started putting counts of how many bowls I get out of each 10. I literally just started doing this last week. I finished a tin of Old Joe Krantz earlier today, and believe it or not, I thought I'd get 10 or 12 smokes out of a tin of Old Joe Krantz. If I kept up with it right, I got 24 bowls, 24 smokes out of that one tin of 2-ounce Old Joe. So I'm about to load up some Haunted Bookshop, and this is only my third bowl out of this particular tin. All right, Kirk from Florida, welcome. Ed860, staring at the election results won't change anything. Yeah. Kinjiro5775 says, hello, my long-haired friend. It's getting there. I guess you could call it long, but I'm hoping for longer. I wish I could just will it to grow like 5 times faster. Wouldn't that be great if you could just like decide, hey, I want long hair, and just like chia pet your hair, let it grow like chia seeds, or let it grow like there's some Play-Doh toys that make like spaghetti out of the Play-Doh. Just make it work like that, so I can have long hair quickly without all this in-between business. Burley Nut Bob, welcome. Pipes and Cigars in France. Am I letting my sideburns grow with my other hair? For now, but it's just kind of all a mess right now anyway. It's hard to tell where the beard hair begins and the head hair begins. It's just kind of all mixed up. Briar Sage, Zach, welcome. WKR Piper in Cincinnati. Pipes and Cigars in France. I've just always wanted to have longer hair. Just a personal thing. Not a religious thing. Not a superstitious thing. I'm not being held against my will and forced to grow it. I just always wanted to and never really had the opportunity. I worked in a music store for a while, for a couple of years, and I grew my hair longer, not quite this long, but then I felt like I had to get a so-called real job. So I went back into the office workforce and got a haircut when I was interviewing. Preacher Man Piper, welcome. Piper on the 45. Reese, good to see you. I've got a moderator in the house. So far, so good. Things are going all right. Yeah, Burley Not Bob, I'm definitely taking advantage of the No Shave November. Yeah, I've got a lock on that one. But after that, I think I might get rid of at least some of this beard. All right, I think I'm loaded up. Nope, I need a filter. All right, we got iShow22 in the house. I understand you guys see a little bit differently as far as numbers of people watching. But I've got 23 and 24 in the house right now. All right, let's get this lit up. Burnley Nut Bob, I don't currently sell the 6mm charcoal filters, but in the near future, I will be carrying White Elephant 6mm filters. They've had a slight redesign, so they're not quite as constrictive as they used to be. But I don't have those live on the site in stock yet. Chopper Piper, welcome. For y'all just tuning in, I just lit up some Haunted Bookshop in my Peterson Dublin Filter 05 shape. T-Dog and SoCal Piper, welcome. It's one thing about the Haunted Bookshop. You light it up and it goes. You rarely have to worry about it going out on you. Just give it a tamp every now and then. Let's see. Cyclops FPV. Good evening from Canada. Welcome. T-Dog asks, are these tins behind you new? Yes, they are new, but I'm not carrying them. Those are just some blends that I decided to try out. Never tried before. It's the John Cotton double pressed blends over here in the short stack, and then this tall stack is the 7 C's by McBaron, all aromatic blends that are kind of modeled after Lane blends or the Captain Black blends. Yeah, those Rattray's meerschaum pipes, Kenjiro, those are nice. Both of the ones I have in stock right now are straight pipes, but I have that white one back here, right there. That's a Rattray's pipe. That's bent that I have in my personal collection. If those sell, I might wind up reordering, and I can try to get some bents and some straights. But we'll see. I didn't know how those would do on the site. So far, I only had 3 of them, and so far only 1 of them is sold. Briar Sage says, I prefer Haunted Bookshop to Old Joe Krantz. I used to prefer Old Joe to the Haunted Bookshop, but because I do like Perique. You're right, the Krantz does have more Perique in it. And I like Perique, so I used to say I like it better. They're pretty much neck and neck for me. They're different. They're similar but different. They have their own, you know, there's a lot more of a nuttiness to the Haunted Bookshop. And there's a lot more of the plumminess to the Old Joe Krantz. But they're similar enough that I think of them typically in the same thought pattern. When I think of one, I think of the other. I will say the first half of the bowl, I think I like the Haunted Bookshop better. But the second half of the bowl, I like the Old Joe Krantz better. And that's because this Haunted Bookshop takes me to task that second half of the bowl. It gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And the Krantz doesn't seem to affect me like that. Independent Sound, I am going to review these new tins behind me in some form or fashion. I may do a video for each series, or I may just mention them as I go through the tins. Maybe not full-on reviews. The verdict's still out on what I'm going to do with them. Yeah, I haven't opened any of the double pressed yet, but the first one I'm going to open is that Kentucky T-Dog. So it's at the top of the stack. Briar Sage asks, do corn cobs require as much rest as a briar? Honestly, I smoke my briars 2 or 3 times in a day. Like whatever briar I light the first part of the day, I might reuse it 2 or 3 times. I know conventional wisdom is you're supposed to let them rest for at least a day after you've smoked it once, but I don't. I do make sure I clean them out in between with a pipe cleaner or 2. But with briars, I never even think about it, to be honest with you. I'm sorry, with cobs, I never think about it. So I would say they don't require as much rest. Those cobs are definitely more porous than briar. Well, I say definitely. They seem more porous than briar, don't they? I think they dry out quicker. T-Dog, that is interesting. I might have to try it. You know, I've never tried mixing Haunted Bookshop with Old Joe Krantz. I might need to try that. Bill Joins is smoking some Cajun cake. I've been smoking Cajun cake recently. From a tin I opened back in 2015, and then it got lost in the cellar, or lost on this shelf over here. Now it's 5-year aged, and it is nice. Bass Piper, you know, I tried to look you up. Thanks for joining the live stream. I tried to look you up the other day when somebody mentioned you. It might have been Cliff Higgins. But I couldn't find you, so I'll have to look again. Let me see. Open another window. Or as my grandma used to say, open another window. $156 subscribers. You're on your way. All right, so I see you got a couple of pipe-centric videos. I will check those out later. Yeah, Briar Sage, I think Kenjiro is right in that regard. They do tend to have more of a saturation point, like a higher saturation point. Talking about cobs again. Um, so yeah, I think they're a bit more tolerant than briars can be. But honestly, cobs are just so cheap that, I mean, just smoke it when you want to smoke it. You know, well, I mean, for at least the what I would call a standard cob, you know, those are from the Missouri Pride up to like the Country Gentlemen's. They're all between $5 and $11. Um, maybe your more expensive cobs like the Cobbets and the Dagner Pokers and the Freehands. Maybe take a little more care with those, but honestly, I mean, they're knock-around pipes, you know. If you mess up a $7 Legend or what have you by smoking it too much, um, just get another one. But I don't think you will ruin a cob unless you just smoke it super, super fast and it cracks on you. Yardism should be here to chime in on that. I'm sure you guys have seen his dag nasty, ugly cob. That thing looks like a piece of charcoal. Independent sound. I'll definitely be sharing my views or my impressions of the double pressed series. I'm not 100% sure how far down the rabbit hole I'll go with the 7Cs over here. But I'm really excited about the double pressed. Yeah, I like the idea of layering Haunted Bookshop with Old Joe. Or maybe lacing. That would be what I would call it. Burley Nut Bob, I do not typically dedicate a certain tobacco to any one pipe. with the exception of an experiment I'm doing right now. I've been smoking crooner, and only crooner, in this Rossi Rubino 320. And I'm going to smoke a whole tin of crooner. It's almost gone. I'm going to smoke this whole tin of crooner through the 320 there and see if I can detect afterwards when I smoke something else if it's ghosted at all. Because I keep hearing that about deer tongue, but I hadn't noticed it with crooner, and I hadn't really noticed it with gentleman collar, even though to me the gentleman collar is a bit more deer tonguey. But I figured I'd try like a full tin of crooner through that pipe and see what it does. But what I tend to do, well, I used to tend to dedicate a particular pipe to Latakia blends, and a particular pipe to aromatic blends, and a particular pipe to non-aromatic blends, but didn't really dedicate specific pipes to specific blends, just blend types. And these days I smoke 75% non-aromatic blends, don't have Latakia, and maybe 5 to 10% aromatics. What's left? And 10 to 15% Latakia blends. So I don't even worry about doing that anymore. I'll rarely follow up one Latakia bowl with another Latakia bowl in the same pipe, so it doesn't tend to give me ghosting issues. Now that I'm talking a lot, this haunted bookshop's gone out. Ken Voorhees, I don't know. For cobs, I like to consider cobs rustic, not necessarily ugly. But your mileage may vary. Voivid, welcome. I can only imagine that you're a Voivod fan. Cyclops, FPV, I personally prefer the crooner over gentleman collar. And gentleman collar's not bad. I just think the crooner is a bit more of a tame, everyday smoke. And, the gentleman collar seems a bit more aromatic to me. That might mean if you're an aromatic fan, you might like gentleman collar better. But for me, someone who doesn't smoke a lot of aromatics, and that's not my preference, the crooner is more my cup of tea. I really like being able to gravity feed that cube cut burley, and just light it and go. And it does seem like I think I smoked 3 bowls of crooner earlier today in the 320, big bowls back to back. Enjoyed them. James Bowers, welcome. Voivod, my personal most expensive pipe. I have a birth year Dunhill that I bought as an estate pipe on eBay, but it was unsmoked. It's an Oompal shape, 1975, and I got to have the inaugural smoke with that thing. And I got a good deal on it. It was about $300 for an unsmoked 40-year-old Dunhill at the time. That was pretty awesome. Not to say I would never pay more than that for a pipe. I mentioned, I think last live stream, that I was getting the cold sweats about a S-Bang pipe that is currently on Briar Blues's website. $850. It's 9mm filtered. Looks gorgeous. And for an S-Bang pipe, I mean, 850 is I think it's pre-smoked, but it looks gorgeous. You know, not a bad price for an S-Bang, but I really want it, but I just can't justify spending 850 on one pipe right now. That's what I paid for that pipe cabinet. And I agonized over that. So one of you guys buy that S-Bang pipe on Briar Blues so I don't have to think about it anymore. Because I've been to that, since I saw it, I've been back to that site like 4 or 5 times just staring at it. Should I? Uh-oh. I lost some messages here. Whisker in my mouth. A bit of a Voivod fan. Okay. A World of Warcraft YouTuber, huh? I might have to check out your channel too. I didn't play World of Warcraft very much, but I played it, you know, for a few months. MMOs, I get tired of them real quick. Something about my personality type that I just like skipping from game to game. It's hard for me to pick one game and stick with it. But I'm going to open another tab for you, sir. Voivod. Cyclops. I smoke almost exclusively Lakeland blends. Now, when you say that, do you mean the flavoring that people consider to be Lakeland? Or do you mean just blends from that region? I do not like that flavoring personally. Interdale Flake is one of the worst smokes I've ever tried to smoke. Very Dread, if you're looking for unfiltered Series 3s, I will have a new batch up by Saturday. And I should have at least a couple of 626s in there. I have them in stock, I just don't have them on the site. So look again on Friday, maybe Saturday evening. You should see them there. Yeah, and I think any JB HDE, your comment about unfinished smoking cooler, I would say that's true about any type of pipe, whether it's a corn cob unfinished versus a finished cob, or a finished versus unfinished briar. That unfinished is going to smoke cooler. Well, all things considered, let's say the same piece of briar, whether it gets finished or unfinished, unfinished would smoke cooler. Because any kind of finishing is going to trap heat to some extent. Voivod says, I know the bang pipe you're talking about. Yeah, I want it, but I don't want it 850 bad. But Jay Mouton, you are right, that is a steal. And those bang pipes, now that those guys are retired, they're going to be more and more collectible and hard to find as the years go by. No more new ones. There is a finite amount of S-bang pipes now in the universe. Spoken to Boynton, I don't know that I could justify writing that expense off for my business. It'd be nice if I could. Now, if I could make $850 in YouTube money by making a video about it, that'd be one thing, but there's no way. I've never made $850 on YouTube across the board on all of my videos. And these days, I don't even monetize my videos anymore. YouTube just, limits their availability for ads anyway. No point. Ken Voorhees, I appreciate that sentiment. And to a large extent, I agree with that. The most expensive thing in the world is regret, and you can't take it with you. But I can't take the pipe or the money with me. So we'll see. If it sticks around long enough through the holiday season, let's say, and I have a good holiday season, I might could justify that expense. But that'd be crazy to go from $300 for the most I've ever paid for a pipe to $850. That's a pretty big jump. You guys are bad for me. My wife would not be happy with you guys right now. Trying to talk me into that, buying that pipe. Voivod, what blends do I smoke the most? I smoke the most of Perique blends and Old Dark Fired blends. I'm sorry, Dark Fired Kentucky blends. And I always say if you put both Perique and Dark Fired in a blend, I'm going to be all over it. Burley Nut Bob, you get, with Deer Tongue, you get a, it's debatable, but most people, the general consensus with Deer Tongue is you get a slightly minty, slightly natural vanilla taste from that particular leaf without any topping. So it's kind of like a lightly aromatic, like the Crooner is a very, very lightly aromatic burley blend. Mostly a burley blend, but you do get a little smidgen of something else in there that's kind of vanilla-y, kind of slight mint taste. And the gentleman collar to me is a bit more heavy-handed than that, but still not over the top. I'm sure there's much higher strength deer tongue blends out there. I'm showing 66 in the house, you guys. What are y'all showing? NC Harley Ride, welcome. Briar Blues, welcome. I don't know if you just caught all that. But I was talking about that S-Bang pipe you've got. I told these guys somebody needs to buy it so I don't have to. So, and if you guys haven't checked out Briar Blues' site ever or in a while, go for it. He's got some really nice pipes in stock right now. I actually just ordered a Nording pipe from him this past week. On its way to Gray Manor right now. Nathan, I'm glad you like that 141. Daniel Leslie says, Eddie, how would you compare your Rattray Beltane's fire pipe to your Savinelli pipes? The way it smokes is neck and neck with, say, my Series 3 Savinellis that are 9mm filtered. Just wonderful pipes. I would say it's the closest probably to my 642 shape, which I don't have in front of me here, but just the look and the feel of that Beltane's fire pipe, I'm just over the moon with that pipe. If you guys don't know the one I'm talking about, it's this one right here. Love this pipe. Right now it is my personal favorite. And I do have those Beltane's fires on the site. They're a bit pricier than the Series 3s, but, you know, beautifully finished. Better choice of briar as far as grain quality. Oh, here's a bunch of stuff I haven't read yet. NC Harley, I have not smoked bow-legged bear. I do not know. One day maybe I'll get through all the Cornell and Deal blends, the 120, 140 some odd blends. It's going to take me a while. And that's just one brand to get through. Cliff, I finally see that you're in here. Welcome. Daniel Leslie, in regards to the S bang pipes going up in value versus down in value, I would imagine they're going to go up in value because of their reputation and the fact that they're no longer making new pipes. Maybe Mike could chime in on that one, but you know, those Sixton Iverson pipes, I don't see them going down in value. And I think the same, maybe not quite as hardcore, but the same would be said about the bang pipes. Could be said. Voivod, I have some Firestorm, some RO Firestorm in the cellar, but I haven't cracked into it yet. I know I'll like it because it's a Virginia Perique blend, which I have never not liked a Virginia Perique blend. Buy it for her for Christmas. I don't think that would work. I don't think it works that way, Scott, but I appreciate it. Cliff, what did you order from Mike? I think Dave Tuttle asked about Falcon pipes. I think they're cool. I have one. I have one Falcon pipe, and I do think the metal shank and being able to put a little ring of. I just use. Well, I used to use just a cut-off piece of pipe cleaner. Now I use these Nording volcanic rock pieces. I'll smoke my Falcon every now and then, but it's still not, doesn't give me quite the tongue bite free experience that a charcoal filter does. But Falcon pipes are cool and funky. The Simplex. I missed your message. Good to see you, man. Voivod, my personal favorite pipe shape is the 320 Author. I really like that, the feel of that pipe. You know you got a hunk of pipe in your hand when you're holding that 320. And a lot of people say it's not good for clenching, but I clench it. Not for extended periods of time, but it works fine for me. They do tend to be heavier pipes, like 2 ounces, 2.5 ounces. Dixie Piper, my wife is not super fond of my new look, particularly the beard. I have noticed I get less kisses with the beard on my face. And nothing else has changed, so all things considered, I think the beard might have to go away. And it might be because this beard is catching this pipe smoke the way it does. And she's not a fan of pipe smoke. Daniel, is there a pipe brand I won't smoke or carry? Hmm. Well, there's plenty, but it's hard to say never. Um, I've thought about carrying Dr. Grabo pipes just for the heck of it because they have sentimental value for me. At least the older ones do, but I don't think I'll ever carry Dr. Grabo pipes just because they're not quality briar. They're churned out as well as much as any pipe factory can churn out pipes in this day and age. Just not attention to detail. The way that they're finished traps heat like a mad dog. I have had a person or two tell me that they have bought Dr. Grabos and unfinished them themselves, like stripped the finish off, and they're much better smoking pipes, but still they're not pretty at that point. Grabos typically are finished very dark, and that's to hide imperfections and fills and whatnot. And Baracini pipes or Baracini pipes, I ordered a few of those back in the day, like maybe 5, 7 years ago. Not good quality pipes. I would never carry those. I mean, there's plenty that I would not carry. There are many more. There are much less brands that I would choose to carry, um, and I mean, there's a lot of good pipes out there, but I try to focus on the line where quality meets value, and for me, that's Savinelli's and Rossi's, and Rattray's pipes. You want to go cheaper than that for a starter pipe or a knock-around pipe. That's why I have the Missouri Meerschaums. Um, so yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm sure I'll carry other pipe brands in the future, though. Stanwells and Big Bens are good pipes. You want to go up in price, Castello's. I know Mike sings the praises of Castello pipes. I'm sure he's not wrong. I don't have a Castello in my personal collection, though. But they are gorgeous pipes. Stabby. That's an interesting channel name. or account name. I haven't tried the Haunted by Cornell and Deal. That's a special that only, an exclusive that only Smoking Pipes has. As far as cigar blends, I really like Key Largo. I also like Grey Ghost. So Key Largo by GLPs and Grey Ghost by Cornell and Deal. Both of those have cigar leaf. Oh, Cliff, I did see that Pipe Carvers Are Evil video. I know what you're talking about. If that's the one you're talking about. Yardism, thanks for moderating and keeping them in check. Boca, I am glad to provide an oasis from the election results. We can all get back to that shortly. But I know I'm thankful to have a little bit of time away from checking my phone. Yeah, Mike, that's why I don't have a Costello. And I know if I bought one, I'd rarely smoke it because they don't make filter pipes. But that is the only reason I don't personally have a Costello. I would love a C-Rock, but it wouldn't get smoked very often. Voivod, I used to not think much of Haunted Bookshop, aside from it gave me a head spinny feeling by the end of the bowl that I wasn't fond of, but you can keep that in check with a full belly, and I don't know, maybe I've just grown accustomed to it over time, but there was a turning point. I set it in the cellar for maybe 6 months and came back to it, and I've liked it more and more over the past year or two, really. Exotica, I'm glad you like that Rubino Antico. I wasn't excited that Rossi was discontinuing the original Rubino series and replacing it with the Rubino Anticos, but honestly, I mean, I like the matte finish of the original Rubinos, but those Rubino Anticos are really pretty pipes. And I believe they're only $2 more than the original matte finished Rubinos. FMC, what's FMC, Cliff? I must have missed that. Daniel Leslie, that I think pretty much most people would agree there's a world of difference between Savinelli's and Dr. Grabo's. I mean, there are various grades of briar, and the way that the length of time and the way that they're aged uh, before they're made into pipes. The Dr. Grabo material that they use for their stems is subpar compared to Savinelli's. I mean, just on down the line. The fit and finish, the attention to detail when finishing out the pipes. Yeah, I mean, there's a world of difference. Really, that would be like comparing a Papermate pen to, you know, a really expensive fountain pen. Maybe not a really expensive fountain pen, but I think you get the point. Papermates still work. I mean, I'll use a Papermate pen. That doesn't mean they're just as good as you know, a $20, $30, $50 pen. And I do still have a couple of Dr. Grabos that I started out with. But you know, I had an aha moment when I smoked my first Savinelli, which is it's that Trevi 320 back here. That was my first Savinelli pipe. Smoked so much better than my Grabos. Simplex, I do remember Deep Hollow tobacco from McClellan. I've got, I think, a 3.5 ounce tin in the cellar. Waiting for a special occasion to crack that one up, crack that open. Stratman, I'm smoking some Haunted Bookshop. Oh, Frog Morton Cellar. I should have known that. FMC. No, Daniel, all factory pipes are definitely not the same. Briarworks is making fantastic U.S. made factory pipes these days, but on a much smaller output level than Dr. Grabo does. Voivod, the two gentlemen that made S-Bang pipes retired in 2019 sometime. Has not been very long, but I can't remember exactly when. Mike, I think I agree with you about the Savinelli being the best bang for the buck for an Italian factory pipe. Particularly for consistency and quality. I mean, Molina makes a decent pipe at a cheaper price point uh, over, typically, but drilling's not always spot on. Um, the finish isn't always spot on. There's a reason, I mean, different pipe manufacturers find their place in their price point for their quality. Eddie, what is the photo beside Bob and Doug? Let's see. Oh, are you talking about, Chad, are you talking about this in between the skull and the McKenzie brothers? That's actually a painting. And it's really dark, but it's a pipe resting on a tin of tobacco. And I bought it from someone in the YTPC. I don't know if he's still making videos, and I cannot remember his channel name right now, but I met him in Nashville maybe back in 2016, 2017. Him and his wife make these tow-behind campers, like teardrop style campers. Make them completely on their own. They fabricate these one at a time campers. I cannot remember his name. Thanks for stopping in, Voivid. Thanks for all the questions, too. It gives me something to talk about. Levi. Yep, that was him. He painted that. Now, Chad, do you remember Levi's channel name? And is he still making videos? Because I've lost track of him. Oh, good night, Mike. Glad you stopped in. Thanks so much. OBX Piper Dave, why does 7LE primarily sell 6mm filtered pipes in the States and 9mm filter pipes in Europe? That's a mystery for the ages, and I'm trying to change that in my own little way here with the Pipe Nook. I'm hoping to carry, I carry the 7LE Sienna series, which is 9mm, real pretty pipes. I also carry the Series 3 in 9mm, in addition to the unfiltered ones that you typically see in the States. And I would like to add some more 7LE 9mm pipes in the near future. So I'll definitely let you guys know when I do that. But 9mm is definitely my preference. Daniel, the factory pipe versus artisan pipe, um, that's a tough one. And I really, oh, okay, so Vi the Samurai, that's Levi's channel. Y'all check him out. Um, the guy who painted this painting. Um, that's a tough one. I would say an artisan pipe at about the $300 level and a Savinelli at about the $120 to $150 level. Quality wise, as far as how well it's going to smoke, they're probably going to be really close. But it really depends on, um, and I could get crucified for that, for saying that, but it really depends on who the artisan pipe maker is, and how they select their briar. Um, how much time do they put into, Savinelli has built their reputation for their factory pipes and their level of pricing, for various lines. And I'd say a Savinelli in the 120 to 150 range is a very high quality pipe. Um, but some artisan pipe makers have much more care and attention to detail than others. I mean, it's an open market. If I wanted to start making artisan pipes, I could. Would they be any good? No. So it really depends on who it is, what their personality type is, what level of pride they take in their work, what price point they're looking to go with, and any number of other things. How much time they put into their pipe, how much of themselves they're putting into their pipe. When I buy artisan pipes, it's really the same price point that I try to stay at, as with a factory pipe. But that's just me. I've said this before. I would never tell you or shame you for spending $500 on an artisan pipe. If it's a gorgeous pipe and you love that shape and you love that carver, go for it. It's not quite where I am just yet. But maybe, and more artisan carvers are offering 9mm drillings in their pipes, which I'm a fan of. So I've got one coming from, I bought one from J Mouton, mortar pipe I've got up here in the cabinet, and I've bought one, well, I've got one coming from, I'm trying to think of what he stamps his pipes as, but it's Law and Smoke, the old Law and Smoke channel, Professor Walker. It's Walker, WP, what does he stamp his pipes as? WCS? WPS? Something like that. Curtis over at Professor Walker channel is sending me a 9mm pipe. No, Daniel Leslie, typically you're paying for that artisan's time because they spend more time on their pipes than a factory pipe. And that's typically because they're doing every step of the process of creating that piece from start to finish. Whereas in factory pipes, there's an assembly line mentality, typically, where one person does the stems, one person does the original roughing out of the bowl shape, one person finishes out that bowl, one person applies the rustication or the sandblast or the stain. One person polishes it up, or does the stem shank finish, that point where they meet. And those are all specialty things, specialty skill sets that typically in a factory pipe situation, you can get really, really good at one or two of those things, and then over time you might go into the other things. But with an artisan, you have to be good at all of those things, and it takes longer to do it that way, one pipe at a time. I know I've missed some comments here. So Daniel, I would say it's not pure profit, unless, I mean, the higher the price goes, the more profit is built into that price. To an extent. Daniel, I would say most artisan pipe makers, particularly when they're getting started, and I mean, they're making it because they love doing it. I don't think there are that many artisan pipe makers that are making a big living, and a lot of them do it just on the side as a side gig, a side hustle, so to speak. I don't think there are many artisan pipe carvers out there that would say they've made their millions doing it. I don't think there's any of those, actually. Boca de Boynton says, I think of an artisan pipe versus production the same as an original piece of art versus fine quality reproduction. I could see that analogy. Oh. Airborne Auction asks about the pipe cabinet. So the pipe cabinet I bought off Etsy. Look on my channel. I think I made 2 videos specifically about the pipe cabinet. Overall, I'm happy with it, but there were some little things, points of complaint. Cliff, have a good evening. It's about dinner time for me too. I'm nearing the end of this haunted bookshop. We're at what, at the 45-minute mark? That's about right for haunted bookshop. It tends to burn a little faster than other blends. Daniel, I have no idea about J. Allen pipes. But, if he can sell them for that amount, there's got to be somebody out there who's willing to pay for them for that amount. All briared up, I'm doing all right. A little bit haggard, a little bit tired, as tends to be the case with Wednesday evenings. Halfway through the work week. And Peace Pipe is right. These artisan pipe makers, they earn their price and their reputation over time. It's very rare to see an artisan pipe maker just start making pipes and selling them for $300-$500. They start off fairly cheap and just barely make their materials money back. And then as they get better and better and better, I mean, the sky's the limit as far as, how well they can hone that craft. And that dictates what they can charge. And that's like anything else in life. As a guitar player, I can buy a $75 pedal that's mass produced, that is a distortion pedal, or I can buy a very high-end distortion pedal that's all handmade, one at a time, point-to-point wiring, no PC board. Is there magic in that? Yes, to an extent. But those can go, $1,000. Definitely in the hundreds. And then there's a middle ground where there's smaller companies that implement a mixture of both of those things. They mass produce they don't mass produce their pedals, but they produce more pedals than those high-end all handmade pedals, and they can sell anywhere from $200 to $300, $500 maybe. So yeah, that's like with anything in life. Oh, what else we got here? I can't keep this pipe lit anymore. I think it's pretty much done. So I'll be closing shop here in a few minutes. Dark Charitable, I'm glad you liked the filters video. I'm definitely a filter proponent. Feels like this week has had 3 Mondays. I'm with you. Daniel, I mean, a pipe shape similar to a 320, but a step up. Depends on what you mean by a step up. I mean, do you want bigger than a 320? Or are you just asking for a better shape than a 320? Because for me, I mean, 320s, One of my very favorite pipe shapes. But again, I would have to point to this Beltane's Fire shape. It's similar to a 320, not quite as big, but man, I love this pipe. It's just balanced so well. It's full of, I need to clean it. I smoked it earlier today. But just a beautiful pipe. Balances well, clenches well. Not too big, not too small. All briared up. Have a good evening. I think I'm going to go find some dinner myself and see what's going on with this election results. Just remember, guys, no matter who you voted for, we're all Americans. And it's probably going to get nastier in the news before it gets better and things calm down. But we're still all Americans. All right, we're going to leave it at that. Glad y'all got to see me, and we'll chat with you later.